Are you seriously looking at random things on your bed on your phone? We all need excellent things in our lives, face it or not. The world needs people like us to discover information at high capacities and deliver on it, and this is called excellence. The high capacity of information I'm talking about is, of course, the random thing that you're looking at on your bed. It's called doomscrolling. After acquiring all the information from doomscrolling, we want to create products, write literature, and just make about anything that we could possibly think of. Making trends and contributing to the vast databases of the world is also a top priority, and this is why you should like this channel, because I make content about competition and the trends revolving around competition. These small contributions, known as the little content and trends that you create after watching your doom scrolling session, contribute to small micro-economies throughout the world, and kids all over the world are promised these things in the future, and of course you need economies to help deliver on those promises. Kids all over the world wish that these microeconomies would come to fruition a lot faster, and they wish for it and their presents to be delivered sooner. And yes, I did say sooner. Kids are selfish and they want things really fast, but it's important to teach them that you can create these microeconomies by doom scrolling and creating content. Now that we're talking about kids, let's talk about how fighting off arranged marriage systems and other child educating our women first before we actually arrange marriage them is a good possibility, because we know that the children around the world will have to sell to the many educated people throughout the world. That and the sole purpose of capitalism is to create a disparity between each other. I mean, not really, but there is a lot of poor people compared to a lot of rich people, and there is quite a few poor people compared to the rich people, and there shouldn't be any sort of poor people, but capitalism wouldn't thrive without it, so we need to make sure that we can continue to deliver on these promises. Ultimately, capitalism won't deliver on the promises that we have, so we want to make sure that we create content after doom scrolling so that we can create these microeconomies for all the little kids out there in the world. There's also a side of that from delivering into the world. The world can literally deliver on everything. It provides food and water so long as you cultivate it and matriculate many thoughts and ideas into preserving clean water and things like that. But there are some sort of powers that make sure that we don't really achieve these sort of deliverings that the world can give us. And I'm talking about world powers. World powers all over the world have their interests in their military everywhere, and this competitive competition is sort of anti-competitive because they seriously don't want you to achieve your interests when your interests are to become number one, and they force competition. So this video is sort of continuing what should we do about it? Like seriously looking at random things on your phone and having the thought come across to you on your bed while you're watching or doom scrolling, you should make this content, but you suddenly get the flooded thought that you won't be able to reel in the many votes or reel in the many likes because the sort of trends are that you're ugly and your race is not so desirable in producing content. Take China for example. It was really 100% communist, but then it found out it wouldn't work. So then they adopted and they added some democracy to it and some capitalism to it, and it became really successful. So much that the entire world has decided that they're a threat when they're just competing along with the rules that the world has set or the world powers has set. The world obviously delivered and China was able to become successful, which is what the planet does, but the superpowers throughout the world have decided that China is a threat, and that is now ultimately stopping everyone, including the new third powers that are the third race, or the Indians, who are now fourth GDP in the world, fourth largest GDP in the world, and they are sort of a threat now too. How are they a threat? Well, because so many people on the internet have agreed that these people should be called Pajeet, and Pajeet isn't stopping. Pajeet is still being successful everywhere he goes, albeit the many few little people who have been deported. Democracy in itself is such a terrible trap that even if you do come up with a great idea, you are suddenly now in a position to defend yourself because someone somewhere has resources or ability to do the same thing with their wealth, and this is 100% thing of democracy that we sort of don't like, because voting is initially what backs it. If you get a group of people to back our voting and say that, hey, we don't want you to achieve your goals, well, guess what? We are not going to let you achieve your goals because we voted, and that's why voting and democracy is anti-competitive and is competition, so you're in a trap, and this is why you can't really succeed in stealing your women like most majority power holders do. They steal your women, don't they? It's not like they stole my women, but it is more importantly that Pajeet is something that you could talk about, and women themselves get involved and laugh about it too. So would you be making a lot of money, or would you end up being with a wife who makes fun of you? Or would you end up with a wife who's not so sexually interested or active? Because the best ones are obviously taken. And that's why we have the American interest to really produce the greatest situation in all of humanity. I mean, take a look at yoga. Yoga was this thing that was great for peace and everything. A few little yogis did it, went to India and found out. And they really advocated for India to be really cool and things like that. But sooner or later, the big guys started coming in, and none of the guys who were physically assaulted within the schools or something, not that I'm promoting, but nothing really happened to them in the school. Like we were playing kickball and the ball didn't hit him in the face or something. And he's out here, he's an adult now, he's saying, guess what, yoga is for us and it makes our women sexy. So guess what, hold on. We make this position of interest, the Pajeet, a more profound thing, because Pajeet is starting to get some, because women are still realizing that yoga is still something from India. That and colonization was this whole invasion of India, and they couldn't do squat about it once yoga came back. Otherwise they wouldn't be saying Pajeet all over the place. Yoga was in colonization territory, India, for the longest time, but they didn't even know about it. So what has these people been doing? They've just been harassing everyone with their anti-competitive competition, and it's still present today because their ancestry has this position to say that my grandfather, my dad, my uncle, my great-grandfather had this sort of demeanor to make sure that Indians or whoever, Hispanic, blacks, white, Chinese people, don't get some, because they just don't have the interest when the interest is profoundly being made up at every moment. The other thing about it is that we sell them spices, and that's why they don't know what to do about it. It's probably because the whole epidemic of selling them spices convoluted their brain so much that they didn't even decide to steal yoga yet, because they didn't even know what to do about it because they're so inferior. But seriously, this is a random impulse. I want to thank you for watching, because I got your view from my YouTube channel. I want to monetize, obviously, and I'm pushing out content thanks to a few engaged viewers. These viewers are contributing to this economy and that I'm creating, and it's really beneficial. This sort of behavior and habit, even creation, is excellent in itself, because it may help someone in the world that right after doom scrolling you do create some content, because it has literal timestamps in accordingly to your account and everything else that you might need it for. Everyone is connected by means of who our government is or resembles, and we all have this great perception to be able to be connected. That's right, be able to be connected. Because if you weren't able to be connected, then you'd be stuck there living like a Thomas and being Thomas Edison and building something that America's anti-competitive competition won't let you, because they've got their interests and military zones saying that, hey, we want to see what you're doing just in case you're a military terrorist threat. And if it's not a terrorist threat, then, well, one of our guys have just realized that you're just building a nice innovative product, and now that innovative product needs to be done by us because it's called competition. And everyone is connected through our local municipalities, government interests who represent us. These guys represent us and ourselves in the government to the smaller parties that run the greater population, and they are connected to us. So it is important to do many other things that you are interested in. A small video like this right after doom scrolling could be really beneficial, because it creates synapses, or connects to those synapses, whatever that psychological term does with synapse, and creates these abilities to expand your horizons so that you can really produce the ability to destroy the competition amidst the anti-competitive competition of many sorts of anti-competitive harassment that needs to be threatened with a sort of presence that matches the threat that you'll be facing, because you won't be able to achieve it if you do say something about how the world is run, which is ultimately anti-competitive. I mean, think about it. You know that the world is run in such an atrocious way, and someone says that if you say something about it, you're not going to get them. Well, guess what? These guys are literally just anti-competitive terrorists, if you think about it, because it's really ridiculous. And with these synapses, you can correlate to many other things and find the causations to the other things, because you're just learning things at all times. Doom scrolling like brain rot, that's something that you shouldn't doom scroll, but doom scrolling like what people are doing, cooking and things like that, that's something that is really beneficial, including whatever else you want to see that's related to your school topics or even your future family topics. You could do that too, and that would be great beneficial. So I deliver on this excellence so much because in the previous decade, these nations have been rising to the #1 GDPs, but slowly, as we've seen with China, that them rising to the #1 position of GDP is a threat. That means India, Bangladesh, Latin America would be considered in a position of terrorizing the USA because they're rising in GDP and followed all the rules. But with that came the convoluted decision to have the basis and standards for content creation to be high quality and really understood at this perception, to say that it has been made by this expert in quality and content creation, so that's why it is good. Otherwise, you don't really have the whole community backing the nation, the culture, to say that your content creation is good. So this is why you should be called something, so that we won't be able to achieve our goals. That and you won't be able to achieve our goals, so that way it's a one-way road, that you're just going to be a show down the road trying to achieve his wealth and money, when we can just do the same thing once we see you trying to achieve your goals and money. That is called competition. And ultimately, it is anti-competitive competition. But what could you really do if handsomeness, successfulness, beauty, and all the other things are considered Pajeet? Because yoga is something that they discovered even during the colonization time, and they found out today that it's really good. So we know that white America's interest is really terrorism to the rest of us, but he positioned his military all over the world saying it's not terrorism, it's really not, we're white American, we're going to help you, and you're definitely not going to be able to get some, because it's going to take you 15 years, and by the time the 15 years is over, you're already done, and that 15 years finally caught up with you back when they said they were going to help you, and you already moved on to something else. So it's completely redundant and useless. But if you stay useless altogether, you'll be able to achieve your goals because you're useless. So this is why we must expand our minds and create synapses, so that we can be useless and useful at the same time. And this is how you deal with anti-competitive competition. Now, Pajeet is supposed to be a terrible word, but more Pajeet content gets exposed here and there, and that seems to be a good thing, because more and more young people are starting to see resilience and strength. The USA does the same thing when we talk about how weird, murderous, gun-toting, and ridiculous they are, so it's alright. It's important here to mention that it is not fair game. The world is able to deliver on everything, but it is the USA and its expensive scrotum balls out positioning out throughout the world electronically and militarily that doesn't allow the delivery of many products. Either because their society of talk creates quantum computers, or their blue eyes actually formulate in the womb, it is ultimately anti-competitive. It's excellent to know that I have spoken about this and about what we should do, but here are now 5 things. Here are 5 things we should do about America's scrotum balls out in the position in their military interests. Promising freedom. Number 1, acknowledge number 1. Economy is just a word of mouth. It is important to realize the ability to achieve all goals in USA, Europe, and any other European descent majority nation with just resilience to brain rot, and important to excellence. What I mean is, instead of pleasure, focus on zero enjoyment or no enjoyment, and focus solely on your goals. That means cutting out on going out and just focusing on the ultimate sort of meandering ways that your position of wealth could be achieved. Number 2, contact your nation. Even if you are Americanized, why don't you end your suffering by sharing your excellent information with your nation, so that they can educate more immigrants who may end up being embarrassments? What that basically means is, say you see some guy down the road from your nation and he's always watching the news and seems like he looks like everyone else, and you really want them to change. Well, what's the point of them changing if they don't know why? So you got to tell your nation that, hey, there's a reason why this whole situation can be produced. This reduction is being able to have this whole demeanor say that you won't be able to achieve your goals unless you really understand the greater concepts of the Americanization that America has really delivered. So what you do is you contact your nation and tell them, hey, there's a great opportunity here, but you guys just got to get it. And slowly but surely, it'll surely come to be, because these guys are professional governments. And number 3, save money and purchase frugally. Things and belongings are important, and they produce environments of ownership towards innovation. You need stuff to keep your peace, and having the best products and decent amount of money saved and it milks excellency. So you could basically milk excellency all over the place just by purchasing products as opposed to going out for services and food. Sure, food is really good, but can you really decorate your place with all these things? Now, some people might not like clutter, but having these physical products in your room is a constant sort of energy that you can rely on throughout the day, and you could pack your whole day throughout the whole 12 hours that you're awake and really just use each and every item to extend your boredom and really purchase the ability to purchase more, because you did purchase it, but you're not just spending on food or anything. That could be anything else. Number 4, create every day. Whether it's different strokes of your pen on paper every day or creations of film and social syntax, you want people to get and just create. You want to be reliable and have resources, even if they are outlandish. Once it's shared, it's out there, and you can build on it once it comes to context during your time in the world. And number 5, have fun. Sit there and think about what it is you're currently doing. It is for work. Great, make it so that you have to pay bills. But I want you to sit there and think if you're fitting into America's or the Western run social media that blames China for their independence and calls Pajeet N-word, P-word, C-word, S-word, or if you're enjoying your life. This obviously requires money, but it'd be great if you can bring out your excellency to really be happy when you have enough people surmounting to your creations and excellency. Now, if you like this video about excellency and you want to see more, hit that like and subscribe. I made a short talk in the beginning about what excellency is, and then I produced 5 sort of things that we can deal with anti-competitive competition to have this excellency in our favor. I want you to truly understand the silver lining to anti-competitive competition, and with it you can really become an important figure within your connections. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.